everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamika. This is Library of Tomes. I talk to you about all the bookish things going on in my life. Today I want to share the books that I've read so far in the month of May. This is my mid-May month, my mid-month wrap up for May. I've read 5 things so far. I actually I'm in the middle of like 4 things, but we're gonna talk about the 5 things I've read. I'm gonna quickly mention the DNF that I had, and we're going to talk about the books now because there's not too many of them. There's actually, we're having a weird reading month, but it's okay. So I did DNF Cruel Black Hearts. This was a serial killer romance, and it was following a girl whose name I've already forgotten, and she was a journalist. Yeah, we have already gotten off to a great start, haven't we? I made it 11% into this one. I DNF'd it because the writing was not good at all. The writing was really, really bad. I also did not enjoy the journalism representation. Do I ever? No, it was just so bad. So our heroine doesn't actually write news stories like a journalist. She refuses to do anything like that. She says, no, if I'm not passionate about it, I will not do it. And that's not how it works. In journalism, you write what you have to write to get your paycheck. And she is writing part-time, writing basically opinion pieces, blog pieces, on serial killers. It's just so stupid. And her boss is like, you're gonna have to write something else. And she's like, no, I'm not doing it. It was just dumb. I could not deal with it. I was reading quotes from this and it was cracking me up because the quotes were literally like, I looked down at my warm brown liquid drink pop and I'm just like, what even are you talking about? Like, it was like this was the worst line I'd ever read. It was horrible. Wanted to die. Anyway, will not be reading that book ever again. Will not try that again. The writing was just not my thing. The journalism aspect was annoying. And I was like really rooting for it. I was like, I just need a really, really dark romance, and it could not provide for me. So that's where we're at now. So I did read Killin by Natasha Knight. This is actually book number 5 in the some mafia series she's writing. I don't remember 100%, but essentially what happens is our heroine trades herself for her brother. Her brother is in a bad situation and she trades herself so to get her brother free, and she has to be this mafia dude's I can't remember their names. Killin. I think his name's Killin. I don't know. But she has to be like his possession essentially for 30 days and her brother's gonna be free. So there's a lot of trauma working around in this. There's a lot of heavy topics in here. There is incest and triggers for other types of abuse, specifically like sexual abuse and emotional abuse to children, and them working through that trauma that they have. I really enjoyed this story. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I definitely want to go back and start from the beginning of the series. I just thought it was really, really enjoyable, and I thought that the characters were done really well, and I just enjoy Natasha Knight's writing style now, so I cannot wait to go back and dive into her backlist. I know she has a lot of titles, and I'm very excited for them. So then I read Misbehaved by Charlie Rose. This was a student-teacher romance that I finished up. I actually am very excited to have read this one. I know a lot of people love this story. This is a student teacher. Our heroine is in like a bad situation. Her home life is not the best. Her stepbrother is essentially like supposed to be like her real brother. He's like been raised to like be like her real brother, and he has feelings for her and he wants to be with her, and she does not reciprocate those feelings. She wants to get out of the town that they're in, that they're from, and he does not. He doesn't see a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a lot of drug use in here, and she ends up having a romance with her teacher, and her teacher does not go easy on her. She is in a very poor neighborhood, so she can't afford the same things that the other students can because she's at a private school. It was very similar to Dark Notes for me, and I really just enjoyed it, but it wasn't as dark. It was really not dark at all in my opinion. It was very just taboo rather because of this student-teacher relationship they had. I enjoyed it a lot and definitely recommend you pick it up. It is definitely worth checking out. Then I read Lothair by Cressley Cole. This is actually book number 11 in the Immortals After Dark. You do not have to read the entire series in order to get to this point, but the reason I read this was because I was on the live show with Charles and Izzy, and I adored Lothair and Ellie. They were my 2 favorite characters from the series so far. I absolutely adore them. Ellie is from West Virginia, so she is from Appalachia. If you all didn't know, hi, hello, my name's Tamika. I'm from Appalachia. I'm from Kentucky. And I have never had a character that has been from Appalachia been done well and not felt made fun of until I read this book. I will say they do say Appalachia wrong. If you say Appalachia, you're saying it wrong. Get your life together. It's Appalachia. Ellie talks about things that the Appalachians talk about. She talks about the Mothman, which I don't know if any of you all know who the Mothman is, but like we have a whole like festival dedicated to the Mothman. We have like, there's like a statue for the Mothman. Like that is like a real thing that people believe in around here that was mentioned. She talks about like the poverty and like realistic, like actually how it is. Talks about coal mining, talks about like just the different things happening in Appalachia with the different like cultural, like different types of culture, and like just the way that Ellie described being from Appalachia and like the tie to family and like how important family is and how family will do anything for one another. It was very, very, it was very well done. It was very Appalachia. It was very much like she is from Appalachia. So Cressley Cole, I don't know where she's from, but you cannot convince me she's not from Appalachia. She's not lived in Appalachia. She's not known somebody in Appalachia or had someone who lives here give her whether or not it's accurate or not. Because a lot of the times with Appalachia, we are very much the stereotype, very much made fun of, very much the butt of the joke. 99.9% of the time we have every documentary you see about this area, about us, is always negative and not done well and just shows us living in like the poorest environment ever. And like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's not. Like, Appalachia is a very poor area, and there's a lot of poverty within Appalachia, especially when you get within the hills of Appalachia, which I am in that type of area. That is where I grew up. That is where I live now. So like, yeah, there is a lot of poverty around here, and I see poverty every single day. But like the documentaries and the way that the media portrays us, and I say the media, I just mean like the people creating everything, and like the things you see the most of is people trying to portray every single person from Appalachia as we have no teeth, we don't wear shoes, we marry our brothers and sisters and our cousins, and we're stupid, we have no education, we don't have any health care, and that we are all living in the extremes of poverty. And there are a lot of people in poverty, I'm not gonna say there's not, but not every single one of us are. Our family did whatever they could to like provide for each other, and it was just, I don't know how to describe it other than saying it was very Appalachia. It felt very much like someone from Appalachia wrote this story, and for that I'm gonna say Cressley Cole is an honorary Appalachian. I am going to say, if I ever meet her, she is an honorary Appalachian. She has gained that title. I love her, I love this book, and I cannot wait to read the rest of the series. Like I'm getting emotional just thinking about like how much I loved Ellie, because like I have never read a book about someone who is from this region and not felt just completely made fun of the entire time. And this was just like such a breath of fresh air. It was amazing. So then I read Gym Buddy by Brianna Hale. This was book 2 in the Dom Fitness novella series that she's writing. This is essentially following a heroine who I can't remember her name, and Trey, and they are, she sees him outside. She has had a very bad Dom in the past who was quite abusive to her, and she goes to Trey, who is one of the Doms at the training facility Dom Fitness. She ends up getting in a contract with him for him to be her trainer, and she is like learning to work through the negative emotions she has with BDSM and learning to embrace BDSM in a positive way, and knowing that not all Doms are going to abuse her. It was very nice. It was very beautiful. I really liked the message behind that one, and I loved the daddy Dom little girl aspects. It was beautiful. It was, I loved it. I love Trey. He was a precious bean. And then I read Credence by Penelope Douglas. And let me just say, I gave this book 1 star. I do plan on doing a full in-depth review on this book. I still don't have my thoughts fully together on Credence, and I read it at the beginning of the week. So I'll say what I can say without having all my thoughts put together. That is, I really was rooting for this. I was rooting for it. I was like, I'm gonna like it. I was very confident I was gonna enjoy this book. I love the writing. I love the premise, the setup, the build up, the slow burn we get up until the point where she is starting to sleep with everyone. And I was here for the taboo. I was here for the idea that she was sleeping with all 3 of these people. I was here for seeing how it was gonna work, how it was gonna play out. And then she lost me when she picked one of the guys, and I can't get into why without spoilers, but essentially what I'm gonna say was I didn't feel like it made any sense. I felt like the trauma for the sake of trauma was just obnoxious and hard to read, because it wasn't dark. I did not think the story was dark. I just felt like the story was filled with trauma and our heroine who never got anything good happen to her. I truly stand by that. I don't think that this story gave me a dark romance. I feel like this story gave me a lot of trauma that emotionally ruined me for 2 days. My anxiety, my depression was absolutely out the roof because of the amount of trauma this poor girl went through. Specifically, I also had an issue with the fact that both sets of parents have a lot of trauma. Not only did our heroine have a lot of trauma, but our hero had a lot of trauma too. It was just a lot all at once. It was just hard to stomach, and it felt like it was for no reason. It felt like it was trauma for trauma and trauma for shock value, and that is something I cannot stand in a book, just because it is just not, it doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't like it. Another aspect that was just, that contributed to a 1 star was the fact that she had me. She had me. I was 50% through the book and she had me. I couldn't put the book down. I was so invested. I needed to know what happened. And it felt like a switch flipped when we got to the point where we figured out who she was picking. And I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. It feels like none of the buildup I've had for this book is making any sense. None of this buildup is making any sense for who she's picking here. So I gave it 1 star. And I hated it. And that's all I'm going to say about it right now, because I can't say anything else without spoiling everything. So if you want me to do a full in-depth spoilery review where I rant about Credence, let me know in the comments. I most likely will do that for you. Those are all the books that I've read so far in May. I do have a couple that I've already started and I am almost done with, but I'll talk about them in my second half of the month, the finished wrap up for the month, obviously. So if you're still watching, leave me the star emoji down in the comments. I don't care what star, just give me some stars because I need some positivity. So yeah, I will talk to y'all in my next video. All the books are linked down below, and I will chat with y'all in my next one. Bye everyone.